We know him, we love him. Tyler Henry is probably one of the most recognizable clairvoyants in the world. He is selling out on his national speaking tour and has launched the Tyler Henry Collective.
So this is a place where fans have many exclusive opportunities, including one-on-one meetings and readings just like this. Take a look.
Any memories of anybody having a parrot or a bird on their shoulder?
My grandfather.
I know this is a weird thing to say, but if Dad was like, I don't know why I'm saying putting it on ice, like not talking to somebody, as weird as that is, there's some emphasis if somebody would have rubbed her feet or if somebody would have rubbed like the bottom of her legs. I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, we all gathered around one night and we cleaned her feet and gave her a foot rub.
Tyler is here now. The first question I have for you, how do you not cry yourself when you're doing these readings? Because it gets really emotional.
Absolutely. Well, I liken my job to an interpreter, almost akin to like an ASL interpreter, in the sense that I have to relay the information, and if I break down crying, it does kind of impede that process. But my heart goes out to every single person that I read.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so talk about the Tyler Henry Collective and how fans can take part in this.
Well, this has been an amazing opportunity through Fireside, which has been a wonderful platform that allows us to meet virtually twice a month, and we do group readings as well as private reading giveaways. So I'm able to interact with fans all across the world from the comfort of their own homes. People can wear their pajamas, they join us, and they get to see the process live and unedited, which I think is so important for those who are curious about the work to see the process.
For sure.
I'm so happy you're here today, Tyler. I'm such a fan of yours, as are so many of us. Okay, here's what I want to know. When did you realize that you had this ability, this gift?
My first instance was when I was 10 years old. I had a premonition of my grandmother's death, and at the time I didn't recognize that as an ability. It was just something that happened, and these moments of knowingness continued, and before I knew it, I recognized it as something kind of bigger that could be used to help people.
Were you ever scared to accept this gift? Because I've heard from other clairvoyants who, some of them have said, I didn't want it, and I pushed it away, and not everybody's willing to lean into it, because it's kind of scary. It requires some courage.
It's intense, and just to be oneself, to have the trust. Not everyone can relate to being a medium, but we all know what it feels like to be an outsider. So to have that courage and strength is so important, and I talk about it at length in my memoir that I started when I was 19 called Between Two Worlds.
And you're known as the Hollywood medium, so how did Hollywood take notice of your abilities?
Funny enough, word of mouth. I grew up in a really small town in Central California. I was doing readings for free, for $30 for my neighbors and friends, and then before you know it, word of mouth spread, and I had Hollywood knocking on my door, so I'm so thankful.
That's so amazing, and you've done so much work, not only in Hollywood, but also for the LGBTQ+ community, work around bullying. You really have used your platform for so many good things. Why has that been so important to you?
Well, I think everybody can relate on some level to having to have an uphill battle, whether we feel like the outsider in the workplace or at school. I think everybody can relate to that. So I always encourage people to know that what makes them unique is their superpower, and the greatest gift we can give our children as parents is to see potential in them that they may not even see in themselves. We can become our child's self-esteem when you believe in them, and that's the greatest gift my parents gave to me.
When you're doing a reading, are there ever any limitations, or can you just read virtually anybody?
There absolutely are times where some readings are clearer than others, and the virtual space, like on the Collective, has definitely presented more questions of can you do it, when someone's thousands of miles away, and we find that energy is energy, and sometimes the connections from a distance are even stronger than the ones with someone sitting in front of you.
It's such sacred work, too, to meet people like this and to shed light on perhaps things in their life or to connect them with past lives. The experience of doing so in a live environment, like at your live shows, what's that like?
That is way more intense. In the live show, as we have some shows coming up in Anaheim, I believe that's on November 30th and December 1st, there's sometimes 2,000 people, and I have to use the discernment to be able to navigate the audience, to be correct, to come up with information that there's no way I could know through any other means, and very oftentimes that's inside jokes, people's last words, inner conversations, sometimes even what people had for breakfast that morning will come through, and it's just really bizarre every time.
We know you're in high demand. Your dance card is certainly full, and tickets are still available, by the way, for Tyler's An Evening of Hope and Healing at the Grove in Anaheim, November 30th and December 1st.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
You're amazing.